The blizzard hit like a freight train, slamming into Alex's old pickup truck with a fury that turned the world white and blind. He'd been driving these back roads outside Denver for hours, the wipers barely keeping up, his knuckles white on the wheel as memories clawed their way back uninvited. Jordan's laugh echoing in a summer rain, the sting of his goodbye under fluorescent hospital lights. One wrong swerve on the icy curve, and the truck spun out, crashing into a drift that swallowed it whole, leaving Alex gasping in the sudden, suffocating dark. He kicked the door open, snow pouring in like an accusation, and stumbled out into the howling wind. His phone was dead, the nearest town miles away, and the cold bit deeper than any regret he'd buried over the last 5 years. Alex had come back to Colorado for his sister's wedding. Not this. A forced pilgrimage to the mountains where his family still pretended his phase had passed. But as he trudged forward, flashlight beam cutting through the chaos, a faint light flickered ahead, a cabin, half buried in the storm, its chimney puffing defiant smoke. Pounding on the door, Alex braced for whoever might answer, some grizzled local with a shotgun, probably. Instead, it swung open, and there stood Jordan, broad-shouldered and unshaven, his dark eyes widening in shock that mirrored Alex's own gut punch. "Alex," Jordan's voice cut through the gale, rough with disbelief. The man who'd walked away without a fight, leaving Alex to face the fallout alone, now filled the doorway like a ghost made flesh. Jordan yanked him inside before the snow could claim him, slamming the door against the wind's rage. The cabin was small, a single room with a crackling fire in the stone hearth, bookshelves crammed with worn paperbacks, and a kitchenette that smelled of pine and stew. Alex shrugged off his coat, dripping melt onto the rug, his heart hammering not just from the cold. Jordan hovered, grabbing a blanket, his movements efficient but edged with that old hesitation, the one that used to make Alex's chest ache with unspoken wants. "What the hell are you doing out here?" Jordan finally asked, handing over a mug of hot coffee, steam curling like the questions neither would voice. His flannel shirt strained across his chest, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms dusted with sawdust, as if he'd been chopping wood to outrun his own demons. Alex took the mug, the warmth seeping into his frozen fingers, but it did nothing for the ice in his veins. "Heading to Evergreen for Sarah's wedding. Roads are closed now, I guess." He glanced around, avoiding Jordan's gaze, the same eyes that had once promised forever, now shadowed by lines time hadn't been kind to. 5 years since Jordan bailed, citing family pressure, the whispers of small-town bigotry that painted their love as a scandal. Alex had rebuilt in Seattle, a graphic designer with a cat and casual dates that never stuck, but the hurt lingered like a bruise that never faded. Jordan nodded, rubbing the back of his neck, a gesture Alex remembered from late nights when words failed them. "Storm's bad. Forecast says it'll bury us till morning, maybe longer. You're stuck here." He paused, the fire popping in the silence. "With me." The words hung heavy, laced with the weight of everything unsaid. Alex wanted to lash out, to demand why Jordan had chosen silence over them, but exhaustion won. He sank onto the worn couch, the blanket cocooning him, and watched Jordan busy himself at the stove, stirring something that smelled like home. Outside, the wind howled like it knew their secrets, rattling the windows as if to remind them. No escape, not tonight. As the hours stretched, conversation flickered like the flames, surface talk about jobs, the Rockies' latest scandal, Sarah's latest drama. But under it simmered the truth. Jordan ran the cabin as a rental for skiers, a far cry from the architect dreams he'd chased in college. Alex probed gently, curiosity warring with resentment. "You stayed here? After everything?" Jordan's spoon paused mid-stir. "Family needed me. Dad's health went south after the mill closed. It's not what I planned." His voice cracked just enough to betray the lie he'd told himself 1,000 times. Alex knew that tone, the deflection masking shame. Back then, Jordan's father had cornered him after their first kiss went public at a family barbecue, spitting slurs about "that queer shit ruining the boy I raised." Jordan had promised to fight it, but weeks later, he was gone, a text message citing irreconcilable differences that felt like a knife twist. Alex sipped his coffee, the bitterness mirroring his thoughts. He'd spent years in therapy unpacking the abandonment, the way it amplified every queer kid's fear of not being enough. Coming out in a conservative Colorado town had been brutal. Taunts at school, his own mother's tight-lipped prayers. But Jordan had been the one bright spot, until he wasn't. Now, trapped in this snowbound limbo, Alex felt the old walls rising, brick by emotional brick. Dinner was venison stew, hearty and simple, eaten at a scarred oak table by lantern light when the power flickered out. The storm's roar dulled to a persistent moan, snow piling against the walls like unspoken grievances. Jordan lit candles, their glow casting long shadows that danced across his face, highlighting the scar above his eyebrow from that dumb bite crashed their junior year. Alex traced it with his eyes, memory flooding back. Jordan's blood on his shirt, the frantic wait where they'd held hands under the blanket, defying the world's stares. "You look good," Jordan said softly, breaking the spell. "Seattle suits you." Alex snorted, pushing peas around his bowl. "It's fine. Anonymous. No one cares who you love there." The dig landed, and Jordan winced, setting down his fork. The air thickened, charged like the moments before thunder. "I'm sorry," Jordan murmured, eyes fixed on the table. "For how it ended. I was a coward." Alex's throat tightened. He wanted to accept it, to let the apology bridge the chasm, but pride held him back. "Coward? Try devastating. You let them win. The whispers, the threats. I was left picking up the pieces, explaining to everyone why my boyfriend vanished like smoke." Jordan's jaw clenched, but he didn't argue. Instead, he stood, clearing plates with deliberate slowness. "Get some rest. Couch pulls out. I'll take the floor." As Alex unfolded the bed, the fire's embers glowing low, he lay awake listening to Jordan's steady breathing across the room. The storm outside mirrored the one inside him. Fierce, unrelenting, promising change if he could just weather it. But forgiveness? That felt as distant as the plow that might never come. Morning brought no relief. The snow had risen to the windowsills, a seamless white blanket sealing them in. Alex woke to the smell of bacon, Jordan already up, his back to the room as he flipped strips in the pan. Sunlight filtered weakly through the frost-laced glass, turning the world ethereal, but the isolation pressed in, amplifying every creak, every shared breath. They fell into an uneasy rhythm, Jordan shoveling the porch in bursts, Alex sketching idly on a notepad he'd found, doodling jagged lines that echoed his turmoil. Conversation veered to safer ground, old friends, mutual acquaintances who'd married or moved away. But when Alex mentioned his sister's fiancé, a straight-laced accountant who finally gets it, Jordan's laugh was hollow. Good for her. She always was the fighter. Unlike you, Alex thought, but bit it back. Instead, he asked about Jordan's life here, the solitude of the woods. Jordan shrugged, wiping sweat from his brow. It's quiet. Gives a man time to think. Regret, mostly. The word hung, an invitation Alex wasn't ready to take. He changed the subject to the wedding. Sarah begging him to come solo. No drama this time. She means well, Alex said, but it's like walking on eggshells. Mom still slips with Pray the Gay Away pamphlets in my stocking at Christmas. Jordan's eyes darkened. Your family's always been traditional. Mine too. Remember Dad's sermon after prom? The memory stung. Jordan's father, the local preacher, railing against sodomites from the pulpit, eyes boring into Alex as if he were the devil incarnate. Yeah, Alex replied, voice tight. You promised we'd leave it all behind. Denver, big city lights. Lies, apparently. Jordan set the shovel down, snow cascading off in clumps. It wasn't that simple. After you left for school, things escalated. Dad found out about us, full force. Disowned me on the spot. I crashed on friends' couches, took odd jobs. By the time I scraped enough for my own place, you'd already moved on. Alex's sketchpad slipped from his lap. You never called. Never explained. I thought you just chose them. I was ashamed, Jordan admitted, voice raw. Ashamed I couldn't protect us. Thought you'd be better off without the baggage. The confession cracked something in Alex, a fissure letting light through the hurt. But before he could respond, a distant rumble echoed. Not thunder, but an avalanche's growl, tumbling down the slope behind the cabin. They rushed inside as the ground trembled, windows shuddering. the fire's ashes scattering like warnings. By afternoon, the power line snapped under the weight, plunging them into true darkness. Jordan rummaged for a generator, but fuel was low, enough for heat, not lights. They huddled by the hearth, sharing stories to stave off the chill, childhood escapades, first crushes that weren't each other. Laughter came tentatively, a bridge over the abyss. Yet as night fell again, vulnerability bred tension. Alex caught Jordan staring, that old hunger in his eyes, and pulled away sharply when their hands brushed passing a water bottle. "Don't," he whispered. "Not after everything." Jordan nodded, retreating to his corner, but the air hummed with what-ifs. Outside, the storm whispered secrets, urging truths to surface. Alex lay staring at the ceiling beams, wondering if the snow would bury them alive, or unearth the love they'd both mourned in silence. The second day dawned with a deceptive calm, the blizzard's fury muted to fat flakes drifting like half-hearted apologies. Alex peered through the iced window, the world a monochrome dream, pines bowed under the load. Jordan was already outside, testing the generator's hum, his breath clouding in the crisp air. Watching him, Alex felt a pull, familiar, treacherous, like gravity reclaiming what it owned. Breakfast was oatmeal, lumpy but warm, eaten in the lantern's glow. Talk turned to escape plans. Wait for the plow, or hike to the ranger station 3 miles off. "We could make it," Jordan said, mapping it mentally. "But with this snow? Risky." Alex weighed it, the idea of freedom tempting against the unknown of these walls. "I'm not dying out there because of this." He gestured vaguely, encompassing the cabin, the man, the mess of their history. Jordan's fork paused. "This? You mean us?" The word us landed like a spark on dry tinder. Alex pushed back from the table, chair scraping loud in the quiet. "There is no us, Jordan. Hasn't been since you ghosted me at the hospital. Remember? My appendix burst, and you were supposed to pick me up. Instead, I woke up alone, your note on the nightstand about needing space." Jordan's face paled, the scar twitching. "I was there, Alex. In the waiting room, pacing like a madman. Your mom saw me, pulled me aside, told me to leave or she'd call security, said I was poisoning you with my lifestyle. I fought her, but security came. I waited outside till dawn, but by then, you'd been discharged to her." The revelation hit Alex like cold water, dousing his anger with confusion. All these years, he'd pictured Jordan indifferent, scrolling through life while he bled out emotionally. "Why didn't you tell me? A call, a text, anything." "Pride," Jordan said simply. "And fear. Your family hated me from day one. Mine too. I thought if I stayed away, you'd heal without the drama." Alex laughed bitterly, the sound echoing off the logs. "Heal? I built walls a mile high. Dated guys who were safe, predictable, but none of them saw me like you did." The admission slipped out, raw and unfiltered, and he regretted it instantly. Vulnerability a weakness in this fragile truce. Jordan leaned forward, elbows on knees, his gaze steady. "I see you now. Always have. That's why I bought this place, to fix things I broke. Not just the cabin, but me." The fire crackled, underscoring the weight. Alex wanted to believe it, to let the past thaw, but trust was a shattered vase, pieces too sharp to reassemble blindly. They spent the morning in companionable silence, Jordan reading a dog-eared Hemingway, Alex sketching the cabin's interior, lines softening as he captured Jordan's profile unawares, strong jaw, thoughtful eyes, the quiet strength that once made him feel invincible. By noon, restlessness set in. The generator sputtered, heat fading, forcing them closer under blankets by the hearth. Stories flowed easier now, Jordan's failed attempts at city life, crashing in a Chicago loft with artist friends who partied too hard, Alex's Seattle breakthrough, landing a gig designing queer pride campaigns that screamed the authenticity he'd clawed back. Laughter bridged gaps, but shadows lurked, the what-ifs of a life unlived. Then, the radio, battery-powered relic on the shelf, crackled to life with a weather update. Blizzard worsening. Avalanches reported in the foothills. All roads closed indefinitely. Stay indoors. The announcer's voice was grave, underscoring their isolation. Jordan cursed softly, tuning for more, but static reigned. Panic flickered in Alex's chest, not of the storm, but the intimacy it enforced. "How long?" he asked, voice small. "Weeks, maybe," Jordan replied, but his eyes said more. Time to confront or be consumed. Afternoon brought a game. Cards from a dusty drawer, poker with matches as stakes. Jordan's tells were the same. Lip bite on bluffs, easy grin on straights. Alex won the first hand, crowing triumph, but lost the next. Jordan's flush mirroring the flush creeping up Alex's neck at the proximity, knees brushing under the table. "You're terrible at hiding," Jordan teased, stacking his winnings. "Always were. That little smile when you had nothing." Alex met his eyes, the tease laced with memory of strip poker in dorm rooms, clothes shed amid giggles and gasps, bodies mapping promises. "And you? Still folding when it counts." The jab drew blood. Jordan laid his cards down, the game forgotten. "I folded once. Biggest mistake of my life. But I'm here now, Alex. Fighting the only way I know, staying." The words trembled on the edge of a cliff. Alex stood abruptly, needing air, pacing the room's confines. Outside, the snow muffled everything, a cocoon forcing introspection. He thought of his therapist's words. Hurt isn't a life sentence, but holding it is. Could he release it? For the man who'd shaped his heart, flaws and all? Dinner was canned beans and cornbread from Jordan's stores, eaten cross-legged on the floor like kids. Talk turned deeper, prejudices faced. Jordan confessed his father's final days, bedridden and bitter, whispering regrets about pushing away the one good thing. Alex shared his coming-out call with Sarah, her fierce support amid tears. "Love who you love, bro. The rest is noise." As night cloaked the cabin, they banked the fire low, sharing the couch for warmth, bodies inches apart, breaths sinking in the dark. Jordan's hand hovered near Alex's, a question unspoken. "Good night," Alex murmured, turning away, but sleep evaded him, the divide between them thinner than ever, charged with possibility and peril. Dawn of day 3 brought a gift. A break in the clouds, sunlight gilding the snowdrifts into diamonds. Jordan ventured out first, returning with armfuls of firewood and news. A downed tree blocking the drive, but the ranger's radio signal faint. "Help's coming eventually," he said, but his tone held doubt. Alex joined him on the porch, bundled in borrowed layers, the cold sharpening senses. They cleared the tree together, axes swinging in rhythm, sweat beading despite the freeze. Muscles strained, breaths puffing white, a camaraderie born of necessity and memory. Like that time in Yellowstone, Alex panted, chopping at a stubborn branch. "Building that stupid fort against bears that weren't there." Jordan chuckled, wiping brow. "Best vacation ever. Till the rain flooded us out." The ease shattered when Alex's axe slipped, glancing his palm. A shallow cut, but blood welled bright. Jordan dropped his tool, grabbing Alex's hand, pressing a bandana to staunch it. Their eyes locked, the touch electric, time folding back. "Careful," Jordan whispered, voice husky. Alex pulled away, heart racing. "I'm fine." But inside, turmoil brewed, desire warring with distrust, the storm's mirror to his soul. Back inside, Jordan bandaged the wound with gentle hands, fingers lingering on Alex's skin. Silence stretched, heavy with the unsaid. "I never stopped loving you," Jordan said finally, tying the knot. "Not for a second." Alex's breath hitched. "Then why does it still hurt so much?" "Because love isn't enough sometimes," Jordan replied. "Not against fear. But maybe it is now." The vulnerability cracked Alex open, tears pricking unbidden. He wanted to bridge the gap, but a noise outside, a low rumble, drew them to the window. Another slide, smaller, but close, shaking snow from the roof in a cascade. They watched, shoulders touching, the world reminding them of fragility. That evening, as shadows lengthened, Alex found an old photo album in a trunk, Jordan's snapshots of college days. Flipping through, he lingered on one, them at a pride march, arms linked, faces alight with defiance. "We were unstoppable," he said softly. Jordan sat beside him, close enough for warmth. "We can be again, if you'll let me try." The offer hung, a lifeline in the gathering dark. Alex closed the album, hand brushing Jordan's. This time, he didn't pull away. Day 4 unfolded with a deceptive peace, the storm's remnants whispering rather than roaring, but the drifts loomed like sentinels, guardians of their suspended reality. Alex woke to Jordan's soft humming, an old folk tune from their road trips, and the sound wrapped around him like a half-remembered dream. Coffee brewed on the revived generator, and for a moment, domesticity blurred the edges of their exile. They talked of futures uncharted. Alex's dream of illustrating children's books with queer heroes, Jordan's quiet ambition to renovate the cabin into a retreat for LGBTQ+ artists fleeing city burnout. A safe space, Jordan said, eyes alight. No judgments, just creation. Alex nodded, the vision stirring something hopeful. Sounds like us, back when we built worlds from nothing. But as they cleared more snow, uncovering buried lawn chairs like relics, doubt crept in. What if this was temporary, a storm-fueled illusion? What if Jordan bailed again when the plows came? The question festered unspoken until lunch. Tuna melts on the camp stove, cheese bubbling golden. Alex set his plate down. Hypothetically, if we get out of here, what then? Back to polite nods at family events. Jordan's chew slowed. Hypothetically? I fight for real this time. No more running. Words. Alex pressed, voice edged. Show me. The challenge ignited a spark. Jordan stood, pulling Alex to the porch, where the sun hung low, painting the snow rose gold. Watch. He grabbed a stick, sketching in the drift, a crude heart, encircled by mountains, their initials intertwined. Childish, but earnest. This place. Us. It's not perfect, but it's mine. Stay. Help build it. Alex traced the lines with his boot, melting them soft. And your family? The town that branded us. Jordan's shoulders sagged. Dad's gone. Mom. She's thawing. Came to a PFLAG meeting last year. Awkward as hell, but there. As for the town, screw him. I've got nothing to prove anymore. The honesty disarmed Alex, peeling back layers of resentment. They spent the afternoon planning. Guest rooms with rainbow accents. Workshops on identity through art. Laughter came freer, ideas flowing like the creek they'd once canoed, swollen with spring melt. But evening brought shadows. The radio spat updates, roads opening south, but their stretch impassable for days. Isolation gnawed, amplifying vulnerabilities. Over stew, Alex confessed a deeper wound. The parade after Jordan left, where he'd marched alone, badge pinned. My heart broke, but I'm still here. The crowd's cheers had felt hollow, a mask for the emptiness. Jordan listened, face etched with regret. I should have been there. Holding your sign, your hand. His voice broke. Instead, I hid in this cabin, nursing beers and what-ifs. Tears welled in Alex's eyes, unashamed. It broke me, Jordan. Made me question if love was just a pretty lie for guys like us. Jordan reached across, thumb brushing a tear. It's not. It's the truest thing. Messy, yeah, but worth every scar. The touch lingered, a current humming. Alex leaned in, foreheads touching, breaths mingling. No kiss. Too soon. Too fragile. But the intimacy healed something fractured. Night fell with stars piercing the clearing sky, visible through the skylight, Jordan pointed out. They lay side by side on the couch, blankets shared, talking constellations. Orion's belt a hunter, like them pursuing peace. Sleep came easier, dreams weaving past and present. Day 5 dawned crisp, the air electric with change. Jordan suggested a hike, not to escape, but to the frozen pond nearby, for ice skating on rented blades from the shed. Alex hesitated, memories of a winter date flashing, falls and catches, Jordan's arms steadying him against slips. They laced up, venturing out, the snow crunching underfoot. The pond gleamed, a mirror to the sky. First steps tentative, Alex wobbled, Jordan's hand at his elbow. Trust me, he murmured. And Alex did, a little. They glided, circles widening, laughter echoing as Alex spun Jordan into a clumsy dip. Wind whipped cheeks pink, but warmth bloomed inside. At the edge, breathless, Jordan pulled him close. See? We still fit. The words unlocked a flood. Alex kissed him then, soft, tentative, tasting salt and snow. Jordan responded gently, hands framing his face, pouring years of longing into the press. It wasn't passion's blaze, but embers reigniting, promising more. Pulling back, eyes locked, Alex whispered, "Don't make me regret this." "Never again," Jordan vowed. Back at the cabin, the glow lingered, but reality intruded. A CB radio crackle, plow scheduled tomorrow, but warnings of structural risks, cabins in the path of potential slides. Tension coiled anew. They reinforced the doors, stacking furniture, the labor a metaphor for fortifying their fragile bond. Dinner was celebratory, last fresh veggies in a stir-fry, candles flickering like hopes. Talk turned to family. Sarah's texts piling up, worried sick. Jordan's mom, who'd softened enough to ask about that nice boy from college. Laughter mingled with tears, processing the prejudices that had scarred them. Schoolyard bullies, church condemnations, the internalized shame that whispered unworthiness. As they cleared plates, Alex's phone, miraculously charging via generator, pinged with service. Messages from Seattle friends, pride event invites. "World out there's still turning," he said, showing Jordan a photo of a drag brunch, vibrant and unapologetic. Jordan smiled, but shadow crossed his face. "You going back to that?" Lights crowds. Alex set the phone down. "Maybe, but not alone this time." The promise hung sweet, but night brought a twist. Thunder rumbled, not storm, but a crack overhead, the roof groaning under accumulated weight. They bolted up, Jordan grabbing flashlights, Alex the radio. Snow cascaded through a fissure, burying the kitchen in white. Panic surged. "It's collapsing," Alex yelled, heart pounding. Jordan shoved him toward the door. "Out. Now." They burst into the night, the cabin shuddering behind, a beam cracking like gunfire. Huddled against the shed, watching their shelter buckle, Alex gripped Jordan's hand. "What now?" Jordan pulled him close, defiant. "We survive. Together." The collapse settled, a muffled roar fading to silence. The main room held. Barely, but the storm had stripped them bare too, forcing reliance. They salvaged blankets, food, retreating to the loft, a cramped area above the fray. Curled in the dark, Alex's head on Jordan's chest, heartbeat a lullaby, he whispered, "I forgive you." Jordan's arms tightened. "Thank you. God, thank you." But forgiveness was a seed, not bloom, tested by the unknown dawn. Dawn after the collapse painted the wreckage in pale light, the cabin a wounded beast, half its body caved under snow's betrayal. Alex stirred in the loft, Jordan's arm heavy across his waist, the intimacy of crisis binding them tighter than any vow. Below, chaos, kitchen buried, books sodden, but the hearth intact, a stubborn heart refusing defeat. They descended carefully, boots crunching debris, assessing damage like survivors of a war no one else saw. "We can fix this," Jordan said, voice steady, hauling beams aside. His optimism was infectious, a balm to Alex's frayed nerves. By mid-morning, a makeshift camp formed. Fire roaring, canned goods inventoried, the radio tuned to static-laced hope. The plow's ETA shifted, delayed by slides, stranding them longer. Frustration bubbled, but so did resolve. Alex helped clear, muscles aching, mind replaying the kiss, tentative bridge over chasms. Lunch was cold sandwiches, eaten on salvaged chairs by the fire. Talk veered to dreams deferred. Jordan's architecture sketches, yellowed in a waterproof tube, visions of sustainable homes for marginalized communities. Queer-friendly co-ops, he explained, passion igniting. Spaces where love isn't negotiated. Alex traced a blueprint line. "Beautiful. Like you always were, building worlds for us misfits." Jordan's hand covered his. "For you mostly. You inspired it, the way you saw beauty in broken things." The compliment warmed deeper than flames, but vulnerability bred conflict. Afternoon brought a CB call from the ranger. "Hold tight, folks. Another front moving in. Evac chopper if it worsens." The warning ignited Alex's fear, not of weather, but fragility. What if rescue came, ripping them apart again? He voiced it pacing the cleared space. "This, us, it's storm magic. What happens in the real world? My job, your life here. The stairs, the questions." Jordan set down his hammer, mid-board nail. "We face it. Together. No more solo acts." "Doubt it." Alex snapped, old insecurities flaring. "You said that before." Then poof, gone. The argument escalated, voices rising over the wind's rising whine. Jordan countered. I stayed away to protect you. Your career was launching. I was a mess, drowning in Dad's venom, the town's poison. Thought I'd drag you down. Protect me. Alex laughed hollow. You abandoned me. Left me to Sarah's pity parties, Mom's Bible thumps. I marched alone, Jordan, alone. Jordan's face crumpled. I know, and it kills me. But I was broken, internalized all that hate, convinced I wasn't enough for you. The truth hung raw, a mirror to Alex's own doubts. Silence fell, broken only by the fire's pop. Alex sank to the floor, head in hands. I pushed guys away too. Feared they'd leave like you. Became the cynic. Jordan knelt beside him, hand on shoulder. We're both scarred. But scars tell stories, ours of survival. Reconciliation came slow, a shared blanket as dusk fell, the new front battering windows. They talked prejudices head-on. Jordan's therapy epiphany, unpacking patriarchal poison, Alex's pride work, channeling pain into advocacy. Laughter pierced tension, recalling a homophobic neighbor's failed intervention, Bibles versus their Netflix queue. Night deep in the front, winds howling like banshees, rattling the weakened structure. Sleep elusive, they held vigil, Jordan's stories of resilience. Friends who'd fled conversion camps, built empires from ashes. We're not victims, he said. We're victors in waiting. Alex nodded, head pillowed on his thigh. Then let's win this. Day 6 brought peril. A beam groaned ominously, dust sifting from ceiling. Jordan shored it with scavenged wood, sweat beading, while Alex radioed for updates. Chopper grounded, plows stalled. Isolation clawed, amplifying a deeper conflict. Jordan's hidden letter, found crumpled in debris. A draft to Alex, unsent, pouring regrets. Alex read it by firelight, words blurring with tears. I chose fear over you, and it hollowed me. Forgive the boy who couldn't, love the man trying. Confrontation brewed. Why hide this? Jordan flushed. Timing. Didn't want pity. Pity. Alex thrust it back. This is love, idiot. Raw, messy love. The fight reignited. Accusations of withholding, trust issues unearthed. You think I'm still that kid, running scared? Jordan yelled. Yes. Alex shot back. Prove you're not. In fury, Jordan stormed out. Briefly, recklessly, into the gale, needing air. Alex panicked, radio blaring warnings, heart seizing. Minutes stretched eternal till Jordan returned, snow-crusted, eyes wild. Can't run anymore. Not from you. They collided in embrace, anger dissolving into sobs, bodies shaking with release. I'm scared too, Alex admitted. Of hoping again. Jordan cupped his face. Hope with me, please. The police sealed it. They salvaged the night, mending not just wood, but wounds, sharing whispers of futures, joint trips to pride festivals, a life woven from threads of forgiveness. But dawn twisted fate. The radio crackled. Evac in 2 hours. Helipad prepped. Freedom loomed, bittersweet. As they packed essentials, a final conflict surfaced. Jordan's mom, calling via satellite link, voice trembling, heard about the storm. Come home, son. And bring your friend if he's still. You know. The hesitation stung, old prejudices peaking. Jordan's face hardened. Mom, Alex is my partner. Say it. Silence. Then, partner. I'm trying. Alex squeezed his hand. Progress, fragile but real. The chopper's thrum grew, rotors slicing sky. But as they boarded, glancing back at the battered cabin, Alex knew. The Real storm had been inside, and they'd emerged changed. The chopper lifted off with a whine, blades churning snow into a vortex, the cabin shrinking to a speck against the vast white. Alex gripped the seat, stomach lurching not from altitude but finality. The bubble burst, real world rushing in. Jordan's hand found his, squeeze grounding, eyes promising. This wasn't ending. They landed at a forward base in Evergreen, medics swarming for checks, hypothermia ruled out, cuts bandaged, hot cocoa pressed into palms. Sarah barreled through the crowd, enveloping Alex in a bear hug, tears freezing on cheeks. You idiot. Trapped with a blizzard and a ghost? Spill. Laughter bubbled, tension easing amid family chaos. But as they drove to the family home, A sprawling rancher on the outskirts, lights twinkling festive, doubt nipped. Mom's embrace was warm but probing. Glad you're safe, honey. And, Jordan? Been ages. Her eyes flicked between them, unspoken questions hanging. Jordan handled it smooth. Good to see you, Mrs. Hale. Alex filled me in on the wedding chaos. Dinner was a whirlwind. Aunts gossiping, uncles grilling Jordan on cabin life, Sarah's fiancé, Mike, clapping backs with easy acceptance. Under the table, Alex's knee pressed Jordan's, anchor in the tide. But whispers circulated. Cousin Lila's side-eye. Uncle Ray's grumbled, kids these days, remnants of the town's conservative underbelly. Night found them in Alex's old room, twin beds pushed together, moonlight slanting through blinds. Your family's colorful, Jordan murmured, tracing Alex's arm. Alex chuckled. Code for judgmental. But Sarah's got our back. Mike, too. He's by, closet till college. The revelation eased Jordan. Progress. But sleep brought dreams, collapsing cabins, echoing accusations, waking Alex sweat damp, Jordan soothing with whispers. Wedding eve dawned hectic. Rehearsal at the church, a stone edifice with stained glass, saints gazing stern. Father O'Malley, once a firebrand against alternative lifestyles, now nodded cordial, his sermons softened by scandals rocking the cloth. Vows practiced, rings exchanged in mock, but tension simmered. Jordan's invite to the dance, as Alex's +1, raising brows. Reception prep unearthed conflict. Mom cornered Alex in the kitchen, flour-dusted apron askew. Sweetie, about Jordan. It's the wedding. Keep it discreet. The word sliced. Discreet? Mom, it's 2025. We're not hiding. Her face crumpled. I know. I'm proud, really. But the family. Uncle Ray's still sore about that pride flag you hung last visit. Alex's temper flared. Then he can leave. Love isn't a dirty secret. Jordan intervened, voice calm. Mrs. Hale, we're not here to cause waves. Just to celebrate Sarah. Mom nodded, teary. Call me Ellen. And, I'm sorry. For before. The apology, small but seismic, diffused the bomb. Later, alone in the barn stringing lights, Alex vented to Jordan. It's always eggshells. Like our love's a phase to tolerate. Jordan pulled him close, lights twinkling overhead. Not eggshells, steps. She's trying, like I did. The wisdom steadied Alex, but the day twisted. A call from Seattle, gallery deadline looming, flight booked for tomorrow. Conflict, he told Jordan, panic rising. I can't bail on the job. Jordan's face fell, but he masked it. Go. We'll video date. Make it work. Doubt crept. Distance, the killer before. Evening rehearsal dinner brought surprise. Jordan's mom arriving unannounced, frail but fierce, clutching a pie. Heard about the storm. Thought I'd contribute. Awkward hellos, but her toast at table stunned. To love that endures storms. Jordan's told me stories. I'm learning. Tears flowed, toast clinking. Uncle Ray grumbled, but Sarah shut him down. Uncle, evolve or exit. Night deepened bonds. Alex and Jordan sneaking to the porch swing, stars wheeling above. Your mom's a warrior, Alex said. Jordan smiled. Takes one to raise one. Their kiss deepened, hands roaming clothed, emotions fire-stoked slow. Wedding day bloomed golden, chapel filled with flowers, guests in finery. Sarah radiant in lace, Mike beaming. Vows exchanged. In all weathers, I choose you. Alex teared up, Jordan's hand in his, the words of vow unspoken. But climax crashed at the reception. Uncle Ray, 3 whiskeys deep, cornering Jordan by the bar. Heard you two shacked up in that storm. Disgraceful. Preacher's son? Shame. The slur ignited. Jordan's fists clenched, but Alex stepped in. Back off, Ray. Your bigotry's the disgrace. Crowd hushed, tension electric. Ray sneered. Protecting your fairy tale? Town knows your kind. Ruins families. Jordan snapped, voice thunder. My kind? Loving fiercely? That's strength, not ruin. You pushed Dad to hate. I won't let you poison this. Ray lunged, but Mike intercepted, security ushering him out. Silence shattered into applause, Sarah's cheerleading. Mom approached, hugging Jordan. You spoke truth. I'm sorry for my brother's poison. The purge cleansed, party reigniting with toasts to resilience. On the dance floor, Alex and Jordan swayed to a slow ballad, bodies close, world fading. We did it, Alex whispered. Jordan spun him gentle. First battle. More to come. But twist awaited. Post-ceremony, Alex's phone buzzed. Job offer, permanent Seattle position, but relocation clause to New York office. Bigger canvas. The email gushed. For your queer narratives. Elation warred with dread. Confiding in Jordan under string lights. It's a dream. But, us. Jordan's eyes searched. Dreams don't have to divide. What if I come? Design there, build with you. The proposal stunned, a pivot unforeseen. You'd leave the cabin? For us? Yes. Tears pricked. They danced on, possibilities unfolding like petals. Evening waned, guests departing, but conflict lingered, internal for Alex. Fear of uprooting again, chasing illusions. Alone in the guest room, he paced. What if it's too fast? We just thawed. Jordan pulled him to bed, faces inches. Fast? We've marinated 5 years in hurt. This is ripening. Laughter broke tension, bodies entwining in holds. Not heat, comfort's embrace. New York, Alex mused. Pride bigger, stakes higher. Jordan nodded. Together, we conquer. Sleep came, dreams of cityscapes intertwined with mountains, love's geography redrawn. The morning after the wedding dawned hazy, coffee brewing in the Hale kitchen as sunlight slanted through lace curtains, gilding the remnants of celebration, confetti trails, half-eaten cake. Alex lingered at the table, Jordan beside him, fingers laced under the cloth, a quiet defiance amid the cleanup clatter. Sarah breezed in. Vale askew, honeymoon bag slung. You too, official? Spill the tea. Blushes and grins followed, the room filling with her squeals and Ellen's tentative smile. New York, Mom echoed, pouring refills. Big step. But, proud. Both of you. The approval, hard one, sealed the chapter. Hugs exchanged, Sarah off to the airport, leaving Alex and Jordan to navigate the afterglow and undercurrents. Packing Alex's truck, they unearthed an old box. Letters from college, unsent missives of longing. Reading aloud, voices cracking on, I miss your laugh. They wept and laughed, history's balm. Drive to Denver hummed with plans, apartment hunts in Brooklyn, Jordan's portfolio updates for queer architecture firms. But city loomed, a beast of anonymity and prejudice, subway stairs, housing biases whispered in ads. We'll armor up, Jordan said, hand on thigh. Like the cabin, strong foundations. Airport drop-off wrenched. Alex's flight first, Jordan's later. Kiss goodbye stretched, salty with parting. Call when you land, Jordan murmured. Love you. Always, Alex replied, boarding with heart full, but turbulence, literal and not, mirrored doubts. Mid-flight, a text, Jordan's mom. Safe travels. Doors open, for both. Warmth spread. Landing in Seattle, interim home buzzed. Friends welcome brunch, toast to survival. But nights alone amplified ache. Empty bed, echoes of storm winds. Video calls bridged. Jordan's cabin renos, virtual tours of Big Apple lofts. Weeks blurred into relocation frenzy. Jordan sold the cabin, bittersweet, proceeds funding their start. Alex's New York arrival coincided. Cab from JFK to a pre-scouted walk-up in Williamsburg, rainbow flags fluttering from fire escapes. Jordan waited on stoop, duffels at feet, grin splitting face. Homecoming was chaos. Boxes unpacked amid pizza. First fight over closet space, dissolving into giggles. City pulsed around them, diverse, demanding. First test, job interview for Jordan, panelists veiled, fit, question probing orientation. He nailed it, retelling later. Told him straight, pun intended, my designs celebrate all loves. Alex's gallery show launched soon after. Illustrations of storm-trapped lovers, thawing under auroras. Opening night drew crowds, critics praising raw emotion, queer resilience. Jordan's arm around waist, they toasted amid flashes, pride swelling. But climax brewed subtly. A family visit, Ellen and Jordan's mom, tentative tourists in the metropolis. Broadway show, dim sum tour, but dinner unearthed ghosts. Ellen's confession over wine. I failed you, Alex. Feared losing you to that life. Now see it's the best. Jordan's mom nodded. Me too. Preacher's wife, irony's thick, but loves the sermon that sticks. Tears and toasts healed generational rifts, but twist struck post-visit. Uncle Ray's letter, forwarded spiteful, heard you're playing house in Sin City. Family disowns perverts. The venom reignited old fires. Alex crumpled it, rage boiling. He'll never change. Jordan smoothed his hair. Doesn't matter. We have our tribe. Response crafted. A group email to extended kin. Alex's words fierce. Love wins. Join or step aside. Ripples followed. Apologies from cousins, silence from others. Ray's isolation, self-inflicted, underscored growth. Months deepened roots. Pride parade, marching hand in hand. Signs aloft. Forged in storms, unbreakable. Jordan's firm project. Affordable housing for LGBTQ plus youth. Alex illustrating promo art. Twists peppered. Media interview gone viral. Outing microaggressions. A queer support group where they mentored, sharing scars. One night, rooftop under stars. City's glow rivaling blizzard's hush. Jordan knelt, ring glinting. Simple band. Engraved, thawed together. Marry me? Not despite storms, but because of them. Alex's yes choked out, embrace fierce. Wedding small, Sarah officiating, moms tearful, friends raucous. Vows echoed originals. In all weathers, I choose you. Past, present, forever. Years unfolded. Home with garden plot. Adopting a rescue dog named Blizzard. Conflicts came. Career crunches, societal slips. But each forged stronger. Prejudices confronted in boardrooms, ballots. Alex's books flew off shelves. Jordan's buildings sheltered dreams. In quiet moments, snow globes on mantle. Cabin replica. Reminded. Hurt melted yields grace. They thrived. Love's drama not in tempests, but the calm after. Deep, unyielding, eternal. And in Colorado's hills, the old cabin stood rebuilt, a retreat for others thawing. Their legacy, full circle.